Hello and welcome to Gardener's World. Right, it's not quite a real thing, but I hope you can join me for this quick tutorial if you want to grow some vegetables. So it doesn't matter if you have a garden or a balcony or just a windowsill, there's always something you can grow. And I'll show you a few of my favorites. Let's start with some vegetables that fall in the same category, which is butternut squash, courgette and cucumber. So I have some pots prepared here. Just want to make sure the soil isn't too loose. And then this is a courgette, it's a courgette seed, yeah. And you put it on the edge, so not the flat side down, but on the edge. Just make sure it doesn't move from side to side. You can stick it in a little bit and put some soil over it. Have a label. So I started to put the date on the label as well. It seems a bit excessive, but it's quite good to see, you know, whether or not it's worth to keep it, or if something just hasn't germinated after a few weeks, and then you can chuck it and free up some space. So this is the courgette. I'm going to put that in a tray with water, just to let it soak, so the water can reach the seed from the bottom. So cucumber, the seed is much smaller. However, same thing. Put it on the edge. Make sure it doesn't wriggle around. Put a little bit of soil on top. Label it. And then you put it in water. And you've guessed it. Same thing with the butternut squash. Put it on the edge. And put some soil on top. Label it. And let it soak in water. So these are the kind of plants that need a bit of warmth to germinate. So I'm going to take all of this indoors later. So what else am I going to take inside? So we are done with these three. Chuck them. The tomatoes. So these are some tomato seeds. I didn't buy them. I really like the tomatoes from the tomato stall at the farmer's market. So I just save tomato at the end of the year and I dry it and then I use the seeds. Okay. So it's a little bit fiddly because it's also a bit sticky. Just to cut that off. Somehow get it off my fingers. And I have some smaller trays here, which is fine for tomatoes. You can pot them on later when they're a bit bigger. Yeah. So these are tomatoes that I planted or I sowed the seed about a month ago. That's how big they are. It's going to go faster now because it's warmed up and there's more sunshine. Oh, I wanted to show you the other ones actually. So this is courgette. The courgette is quite massive. I'm super happy about that. The courgette is about 5 weeks old. So I had them indoors for a while and then during the day I put them in the greenhouse and at night time took them in. These are cucumbers. So this is a cucumber. How old is that? That's about 2 weeks old. Yeah, so not much happened. However, it has germinated and looks quite healthy. This one is a little bit older. How old is that? That's about a month old. So it doesn't look super impressive. It's just too cold and I sometimes forget to take them indoors at night and they don't like it. I have to be better about that. This is a butternut squash that's 3 weeks old. Looks quite good. Let's see what happens. Okay. Where was I? Oh, tomatoes. The tomatoes. So I have a few more seeds. If anyone lives locally and you want some seeds, now I can't see where you put seeds, you're more than welcome to get them. These are really lovely tomatoes. They are very small. So they're baby plums and they're delicious, very sweet. And I've grown them before. I haven't had any problems with tomato blight with these. Obviously there's never a guarantee. But yeah, they've been really good. Okay, so let's hope this works. So I still have some baking parchment on here. Leave them. Okay. Bit of soil on top. and then I put them in the water. So make sure when you have these tender plants that the soil you're planting them in, also the water that you're watering them with, the first water, that it's warm, that it's not too cold. Okay, so what else is there that needs to grow indoors? Basil, sweet basil. It's fairly easy to grow. The principle is a little bit different because we don't put any soil on top of it. What we do, so that's why, is you have soil in a pot, and then you put the basil on top of that soil. Come here. Oops, that was too much. Just a few, sprinkle them. Somehow they always end up in other pots. I think I can do a few more. So don't worry, if it's too much, you can always pull them out later. Then you do not put any soil on top because they'll need light to germinate, and it's quite funny. Because once the water then hits the seeds, they swell up and they look blue. Let's see if that's going to happen, and I can show you. Okay, what else? So the other one that needs light to germinate, where did I put that? Is dill. So I have to be honest, I've never successfully grown dill. That's quite shameful as a German. Germans love dill. Not quite as much as the Scandinavians, but we still love it. So as I said, I've never successfully grown it. I shouldn't really be allowed to show you how to do that, but I do it anyway. Ooh. So you have some seeds, not too much, and you, oh God, it already is there. Oh well. Overload. Smooth the molar about a little bit. I think I'm going to do a second pot with that, otherwise it's too much, and it's not very easy to transplant them. Okay, so you have that. So they stay on top, and then you put them in water, so they can actually stay outdoors, maybe in a cold frame or in the greenhouse, and they will happily germinate. Let me just quickly show you. This is sweet basil, so not much has happened. So I've left it outdoors. And they do like warmth, so I left it in the greenhouse. However, this is 2 weeks old. It has germinated and it looks quite good, and it's gonna grow a lot in the next few weeks. This is dill. So this is almost a month old, 4 weeks old, looking good. Let's see if I will successfully grow some dill this year. Okay, so what else is there? Some other stuff that needs warmth to germinate is beans. So I have a dwarf French bean here, Speedy. I have grown some already. I planted them out, so I can't really show you. And well, there's a rather sorry specimen, so that doesn't really count. The others, they look quite good. So they need warmth to germinate. I'm going to take them indoors. That's what the seeds look like, fairly small. Just pop one in. Put soil on top. And put it in water. You see there's a pattern here, eh? Then I have runner beans. It may still be a little bit early for runner beans. I don't know, I'm only gonna do a little test round here because I don't have many seeds, and they're all sold out. So in a pot, so they're a little bit bigger. I'm gonna put 3, just 3 in a pot. Soil on top. Where did I put the label? Somewhere there. Okay, so I put that here. So what you do traditionally, I hate to mention loo paper, however, so I have collected some loo paper rolls in the past few months. And because they don't like to be disturbed, you traditionally put them in loop paper rolls, yeah. So you don't have to use super expensive soil for beans. They happily grow in anything. Just squeeze it because otherwise it's only going to come out at the bottom. Okay, so again, I put 3 in here. 2 is actually 2. I'm just going to put 2 in here, and I'll do a second one. And I'll put 2 there. Put soil on top, and there's no space in my water now. There's a little bit of space. Okay. All right. So I'll put them somewhere else for now. Okay. And what's next? So that was the beans. So all of this is going to go indoors. However, there's a lot of stuff you can grow outdoors. So I have some spring onions here. And the first time I grew spring onions was last year. And I forgot them in the ground. I didn't harvest them all. And I'm still harvesting them now. I just started to harvest them now. And it's really, really nice to, wow, just to have some spring onions. When I'm going to put them in here, in one of these long ones, it's just a little bit easier. So you don't want to have them too narrow. But, you know, it's not like a cucumber or a courgette where you want to have one pot per plant. So you can sow quite a few here, just sprinkle them around. Sprinkle, sprinkle. God, I can't believe I just said that. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Like me talking to the chickens and sounding like an idiot. Okay. All right. And you've guessed right. You put some soil on top. Label it. And put it in water. Don't have any water. I just put it somewhere else. Yeah, just put it here. Do I have some spring onions to show you? I do, but not right here. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right. What did I do with my basil? So that can go outdoors, and that will happily germinate outdoors. May take a little bit longer, but I think that's fine. The other thing, I haven't ever grown that, so this is the first year that I'm growing it, is Chinese cabbage. Okay. So it says quick maturing and resistant to bolting, which I like. Okay. And I already have some in the greenhouse that have germinated. And well, I just like things that don't take forever. So take a few of these. And sprinkle them a little bit further apart. Okay. If you have too many, it doesn't matter, but you have to thin them out later. Soil on top. And put it in water. That was Chinese cabbage. Very exciting. What else do we have? These are garlic chives, but you can just have normal chives. I mean, who doesn't like chives? And it's just such an easy thing to grow and to have. It's so handy to have that in the garden, yeah, for your eggs, for your omelette, for anything, for any salad really. So I've already sown quite a bit. So this is what the seeds look like. And you just sprinkle them around. Yes, not rocket science. Don't have to be too careful. Okay, that was a little bit too much. Okay, I'm just going to do a second one then here. Okay. That's that. God, no, I only have one label. Ooh, I have to remember. These belong together. What's this? Parsley. Who doesn't like parsley? It's the same thing. It's just such a handy thing to have in the garden. So don't sow it too closely just a few in a little pot. So all of this is so easy and straightforward, really not hard. Not everything will successfully grow, but you just learn. You learn. So this is kale. This is Cavolo Nero. And again, it's a handy thing to have. It will provide you not just with some greens in summer, but also in winter. So I'm going to be very cocky. I'll only put one seed in here, assuming it will germinate. If not, that was a bit of a waste. So you can do 2 or 3 and you thin them out later. Okay. Oh, I'm going to regret that. All right, so that's that. And the last thing is spinach. I do find spinach a little bit difficult because, especially when it's warm, it will just go to seed very quickly. But on the other hand, it's a good thing to have, just a little bit of greens. So spinach, just have a seed, put it in here. Soil. And that's that. So this is some spinach, that's a month old. Ooh, and a stray seed, I don't know what that is. Looks like dill. So it's a month old. It doesn't look like a lot, but let me just eat that actually. But it will go faster because it's warmer, yeah. This is some beetroot. It's also a month old. So beetroot, yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I quite love it. Not everyone's cup of tea. Same thing, really. This is some Cavolo Nero, some kale. That's 2 weeks old, so it just has germinated, really. But it will happily start growing. Yeah. So all these cabbages, the beetroot, the Cavolo Nero, the spinach, the Chinese cabbage, or any other cabbages that you want to grow, it shouldn't be too hot. They can also be in a shady spot. So if it's too hot and too dry, it will simply go to into flower. It would start to bolt. That's what it's called. It will go into flower, and then that's that really. So other things you can grow is lettuce. Don't know. This is just any normal lettuce, and that's the perfect thing to grow in a windowsill. On a windowsill, well, either of those, and quite rewarding. Yeah. Go and pick some lettuce for dinner. Who doesn't like that? Okay, I think that's it. There are many more vegetables you can grow, but these are the most simple ones. And oh, one other thing I want to show you. This is coriander. I love Thai food. So this coriander I've sown, I think, a month ago. Yeah, a month ago. And it will happily germinate outside. This didn't happily germinate outside, but it did in the end. And there you can see some little seeds. Yeah, so that's an easy thing to grow, and it even self seeds once you've had it, and it goes to seed. Okay. Right, so that's it. From here, maybe I can show you a couple of things that are in the greenhouse. So the only other thing I actually want to show you is in the greenhouse. I have some red peppers here. So I haven't ever successfully grown red peppers, so this is an experiment. These are aubergines. Again, I haven't successfully grown any, so let's just see what happens. So it's a little bit late to sow them from seed. Well, okay, I grew those on the 2nd, or was planted those on the 2nd of March. So that was a month ago. So yeah, maybe it's worth it. You can give it a go if you have any seeds. And these are some spring onions. Yeah. What else is there? There's some cucumbers, more spring onions, etc., etc.